welcome to yoga. I'm really pleased you've joined us, even if it's just to give it a go. And how old do you need to be for today's yoga? Well, you can be any age at all. If you're under 5, it might be nice to have an adult or a brother or sister with you, but if you're age 5 to 19, 20, why not practice this on your own? And you can always bring your family in if you like it. You can repeat this class, of course. Now, what do you need? Well, let's just check that we've got ourselves. Yep, check. And a bit of space around you. You won't need any equipment if you're practicing on a nice comfortable carpet. However, if like me, you've got a hard floor, then you might want to use an exercise mat like this one. So kick off your shoes and let's do some yoga. Okay everyone, so let's get up on our feet and we're going to start by swinging our weight from side to side, bending into the elbows. Just to warm up the muscles a little bit, we can bend into the knees and orchestrate our limbs from side to side. So this class is called Change Direction, and we're going to look at ourselves from a wider perspective than just our homes. And we're also going to look at ways in which you can approach a new direction or a new activity or hobby. So take just a few more of these and draw it to a gentle, gentle, gentle pause. The arms will join in whenever they want to. Okay, let's turn your weight onto your right side now. So you're bending into your right knee. And we're going to make a big arc above our head, up and over, and back the other way. So both arms are involved, but your top arm is making this lovely big arc. And your strong legs are working well. Wonderful. All part of our warm-up as you switch sides. And paint that beautiful wide arc above your head. And another one for good measure. That's excellent. Well done. Okay, let's jump the feet together. So turn away so that you've got a long kind of landing ground behind you, because you're going to sink your hips down. You're going to keep going down, and maybe lift up your arms, but keep going down with those hips, and then you can roll all the way back, tuck in your knees, and do a few rollies on your back. And then to come out, you're going to need some momentum. So you can take a deep breath, using your tummy muscle strength. Try not to use your hands to prop you up. Here your back is standing. That's excellent. Feet together. Have a stretch to one side and up and over to the other. Wonderful. Now, you've probably been looking at screens all during lockdown. So you don't need to look at your screen for this one, just make sure you can hear my voice. I would like you to almost imagine that you're in a little GPS craft and you're looking down upon yourself from a greater height than where you're standing. So you're in your home, you're looking at your home, and then you're taking a wide perspective of where you are on the earth. You might even want to think about where you are on the globe as if you're looking at yourself from space. And I want you to face north, okay? So that might be in a different direction to where the screen is. You're going to face north, even though you've got your back to me. I don't mind. And you're going to turn your toes out to the side. We're going to do this funny pose called the goddess pose. And she's going to go for a little bounce. and she's going to bounce around the compass. So we're going to start by bouncing through the feet, and you're still facing north. Now I want you to work out where east is, because in a moment you're going to do a 90-degree jump to the east, and you're going to do it in one go. 3, 2, 1. There you are, facing east. Do another couple of bounces. 90-degree turn to the south now. Good. 90 degrees turn to the west, and then back to north. Good. Jump in your feet, have a stretch, and we'll go again, but this time we're going to go 180 degrees. This time we're going from north to south in one half turn. Feet aren't allowed to touch the ground during that half turn. You're going to fly your way round. Feet are wide, toes are out to the side. Back into your goddess pose again. And some silly bounces, some crazy bounces. And then after 3, we're going to go 180 to the south. 3, 2, 1. Good. 3, 2, 1, and back to north. Excellent. Jump in your feet, and in fact, feet out to the side so that you can stretch into the inside of the legs, and then bring in your palms. So all well and good. Now this time, you're going to do a 270-degree turn. So if you think of a circle, it's 3/4 of a circle in the air when your feet are not touching the ground. So let's go again. Feet wide, toes out. Do your bouncing. You're facing north, and you're going to go west via east. So it's a 3/4 turn. 3, 2, 1. Did you make it? And back to north. Well done. Good. And this time take a nice deep bounce in and stretch away to one side, deep bounce again, stretch away to the other side. So, what's the full circumference of a circle? Actually, circumference is the wrong expression, you can tell I'm not a mathematician. 360 degrees. A full circle covers, so we're going to go from north to north. Your feet aren't going to touch the ground in that 360 turn. So let's bounce again. Elbows are going to just pump up a little to help your tired legs. Here we go again, toes out. Okay, after 3, 360 degree, 3, 2, 1. Did you make it? Hope you did better than me. I was somewhere skewed off in that direction. We're going to do the same again, but this time turn in the opposite way. Revolve the circle in the other direction. Okay, after 3, 360. 3, 2, 1. How did you do? Hope you did okay. Remember to do your stretch afterwards. And I'm sure most of you know this. Have a look at the globe. It's at an angle. And that's not just for aesthetics, for the globes in our home. That's a representation of the Earth's tilt. So let's think about your own tilt. Imagine this is your north at the top of your head, and the feet are your south. You've perhaps got east and west as well. Drift your arms up so you're now pointing to your polar north. And the Earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees. Now, I'm not suggesting that we measure this, we just go to a gentle tilt to sort of off centre and then back again. And this time we're going to try and do it standing on one leg. So we're going to go in the same direction. So it's your right knee that you're folding, you're opening the hip like a gate, and you're pressing the sole of the foot into either the thigh. You lose your balance, you can press your toe in the ground instead. So we're going to go like the Earth's tilt, gently to one side Lovely. That's it. Now you're still breathing even though you're concentrating quite well. There's no need to hold our breath. We can still breathe. And then we come back up to the centre and bring our palms together. Let's go to the other side now. So again, you're opening your hip like a gate, and then this is the solid bit here. Press the leg into the sole of the foot. Drift your arms up and take your 23.5 degree tilt in the opposite way. So, nothing is perfect, not even planet Earth. It sits at a jaunty angle. And that angle, as we make our journey around the sun, gives us the amazing seasons that we experience here in the Northern Hemisphere. Wonderful. So, let's have a look at this picture now. What pose is that? I'm sure you all know it. It's downward facing dog. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn downward facing dog around. So we're still doing the same pose, but the ground is here rather than here. And we're going to do it in stages. So you're going to do several poses on the way around. Now I have to credit my teaching friend Sandra Cook with this one. She calls it the 360 degrees of dog. So let's have a go. We'll start off in downward dog. So drop down onto your hands and your knees, everyone, and tuck your toes under. And then lift your hips towards the sky. And imagine that you've got a tail, so you're lifting your tail but dropping your head. Plant your palms and you can bend your knees. Drawing in your tummy a little so that you've got a lovely strong dog. Well done in your downward dogs. But we're going to change the angle of this. Now I haven't measured the degree of the turn, we're just going to go for it. So I'd like you to jump your feet forward and sit down on your bottom, stretch out your legs and bring your arms above the head. Now, are you doing the same pose? Perhaps you are. Let's measure it. Let's go back to dog. Are your arms by your ears? Yes. Are your hips folded at the top of the legs? Check. Yes. So come back. In fact, jump forward with your feet. And then send your bottom back and up you go. Same pose. Our relationship with the earth has changed. That's all. Now, I would like you to look back again and make sure that you've got plenty of room behind you, no glass coffee tables. Because this time, you're going to stretch your arms up and then we're going to go all the way back. Now, adults, if you're joining in, you need to watch your lower back, so always bend your knees, okay? So we're going all the way back, reverse lights are on, and then we drop our hands behind our head on the ground and we push our feet up to the ceiling. Is it the same pose? Our arms are beside our ears, yep, and our hips are folded. Wonderful. So it's exact same pose. And then we come all the way back up. Good. And dropping your arms down. Okay, so we've got another one to do, but this time you might need the permission of an adult because I'd like you to use perhaps a chair or the edge of a sofa. Try not to use a table, they tend to have objects that can get broken. So perhaps a chair, a sofa, or even a bed. Now I'm going to use this window ledge, and you could use a wall, but definitely ask an adult first if that's allowed. And come with me. So take whatever you're using behind you. It might be a chair, it might be the edge of the sofa. You've got your back to it. You're going to bend your knees and come down into a forward bend. Now walk your hands slightly forward and then look behind you and step one leg up and then step the other leg up. And this time you are upside down, but you're in exactly the same position as downward dog. Your hips are folded and your arms are by your ears. See if you can stay here for another few breaths. If you need to rest, you know that that's okay. You just jump up again after your rest. And bend into your knees, jump down and back up. I couldn't see you, but I wish I could because I'm sure you were doing wonderful. That's called a half handstand. Now we're going to do it again, but this time, if you just quickly watch, you're going to see if you can lift one leg at a time. Okay, do you think you can at least try it? So have your back to your chair, bend your knees as you drop your fingers and fingertips down to the ground, relax into your head. So you're now looking behind you so you can see where you're going. And then step back with one leg, and then up you go with the second leg. Walk away from the object if you need more space. Can you lift one leg up? Have a little go. It can be as far as you wish to reach it. And remember, you can swap once you get tired. And then bring both feet onto the object, bend into your knees, bunny hop down, and up you go with your arms. So that is the same pose, but boy does it feel different. Like downward dog, you're upside down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our downward dogs, let's come into it again, 180 degrees. So come with me, send the feet forward, that's roughly 90 degrees. And then I'd like you to bend into your knees. See if you can drift your feet up. Now if this is uncomfortable, take your hands behind your knees. Now some of you will recognise this as the boat pose, but we can turn this into Titanic pose by drifting our arms above our head. And if you're strong enough and the lower back isn't hurting, that's very important, you can push away with your heels. And it's the same as dog, isn't it? Have a little rest, bring your knees in, and then go for it one more time. Just a few breaths, up you go, engage the tummy. It's working hard, isn't it? Lovely, okay, so that's you done 360 degrees of downward dog, well done. We're going to lie down now, and then we're going to do a meditation. I hope you can join me for this bit. Let's start by lying on our backs with our knees bent, palms down. And I want you to slowly lift your hips off the ground, and if it feels okay, you can bring your chin in slightly towards your chest, and I'd like you to roll from right to left so that you're squeezing your shoulder blades together and you're coming into the bridge pose. Now some of you will be able to take your hands behind you and push up into the wheel pose. But we're going to stick, you're very welcome to do that. Great work if you are. Otherwise, I want you to just imagine the beautiful curve that you're making with your body. And imagine that you are in outer space, looking back at the Earth. You're roughly about the height of the International Space Station. So you're not too far out, but you're far enough out so that you can see the Earth's atmosphere, the thin blue line, and you can also see the curve of the Earth. And this is the shape that you are making with this beautiful arc. You're lifting your chest and your hips up into this wide arc, all the way up through the atmosphere and into space. Well done, everyone. That's quite a strong pose, so I'd recommend that you give yourself a rewarding hug after that by drawing in your knees and rocking your hips from side to side. Tuck your hands in behind your knees and come up to sitting. crossing your legs, and we're going to get ready for meditation. It's going to last about 5 minutes. So well done. You thought big there, you thought beyond the confines of your homes, you got an idea of where you are with regards to the compass, and maybe even thought about where you were on the globe. And we worked up a little bit of a sweat as well. And you know, there's nothing wrong with thinking big. I believe, many believe, that thinking big is what we should all aspire to. And that's what's recommended in this fantastic book called Micro Adventures by Alastair Humphreys. I'm a big fan of this just now. He has a little quote in here which I've been sharing with my adult students. He says, think big and then think small. What he means by thinking small is, what are the tiny little steps that you need to take to get going in a new direction or to try something different? Think big, think small. What are those tiny steps that you need to take? And he then goes on to say, start small, so make those first tiny steps, but do start. That's perhaps one for the adults. Children have got loads of enthusiasm for new ideas, but adults and children have got loads of distractions sometimes in the way that prevent us from making even the smallest of starts. So that's the theme for today's meditation, is from this outdoor adventure book, Micro Adventures. Might all become apparent once we get going. So I'd like you to be comfortable. It doesn't have to be cross-legged. You can sit in a chair, you can even lie down. But we're going to be taking a moment to settle ourselves and feel the weight of our sitting bones resting into the earth, and the earth gently lifting into us and supporting us so that we can relax. And allow your eyes to close only if you feel happy to. A gaze on the floor is also fine. And I would like you to not just think big, but make a big circle with your head. Now you can start by dropping your chin to your chest, rolling your ear to the right, lifting your nose in the air, and then going all the way around. So make big circles, and the slower the better. Think big. And then you can change direction, so it's still a great big circle in the other direction. Good. Think big. Start small. Okay. So I want you to imagine that your nose is aligned with a tiny dot, maybe about the size of a drawing pin. And you can go in any direction you want, but you're going to start small with tiny little circles around that drawing pin. But then the circle's going to get bigger. Now it's about the size of a bottle top. And then you're going to get a bit bigger. And like a spiral, you're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger from that tiny little start. So you're now back to doing great big revolutions with your head. And we're going to spiral all the way back in. Maybe speed it up a little bit. Back to your dot, and then you're going to change direction. If you can remember what direction you were going in, round that tiny, tiny little dot, and then get gently and slowly bigger and bigger. So you're starting small. These are the tiny steps to the bigger picture. Rolling the head. And then spiral all the way back to that little tiny, tiny dot. And then pause when you start to make the dot. You can even lean forward and make the dot with your nose, and then draw back from the dot, drawing in your chin. And we're going to stay here for a few moments, focusing on this imaginary dot. Stay with it for just another few moments. Settle into it, relax. See if you can stay focused on this dot for just a moment or two longer. Two more breaths here. And then you can have a little smile to yourself. You can move into your fingers and you can have a nice stretch above your head. Really well done. Well, if this was a new experience for you today, you made a tiny little step by switching on this video, and you've done almost half an hour of yoga. You've even done quite an advanced meditation there. And I don't need to tell you to think big or start small, because you've done it. So well done. And thank you for joining me. There'll be another part to this yoga series, which I hope you can join in. And it's going to be a little more relaxing. So come back for rolling and relaxation. Hope to see you then. Well done.